Hey there, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan at the port of Kawasaki today because we're shooting this one at the port instead of our regular lot. This is a 1994 Nissan fire truck, an Atlas. This one a rear-wheel drive gasoline 2.0, 4-cylinder, carbureted engine. Pretty interesting, not something we usually would do. Lots of fire trucks come our way. This one here a little bit different from most of them. We also have a flat tire, and this is something to consider. These fire trucks, 9,000 kilometers on the fire truck, that is 30 years old. 30 years, in some cases like this, with the same tire on it. This goes to show that tires do puncture even when they have like 95% tread on them, but they're just old. Rubber and the compounds inside deteriorate over time, and eventually you can get a flat tire. In this case, at auction it was fine, and then through the transport here to the port, it sprung a leak and ended up going flat. So we will need to get a new tire. We can send a guy out here to replace that tire. There is an extra cost for that. Something like that is a risk that you have to take when you're buying wholesale like this. On the other side, you get low prices, low prices. Speaking of low prices, this one here, because it's not four-wheel drive, and it's not diesel, and it's the Atlas instead of the Hi-Ace, you're going to save a lot of money. This is probably about 25% of the cost of the diesel 4x4 Hi-Aces, and so you can save a little bit. And sorry about the dirty hands. I had an issue with a camper. Go figure, campers are always an issue, but the hood couldn't open, and I have nowhere to wash my hands out here, so yeah, a little bit of a shame. We usually have the engine running here, but I had to turn it off. I didn't have to turn it off. I turned it off and then didn't realize I turned it off. I'm going to turn it back on and you'll hear that it works fine. Get back in. It's actually, you sit up pretty high on these, which makes you feel like a real fireman. Okay, engine's running. You can see engine runs fine. Switch it off for the rest of the report. And yeah, the way that you sit in it is cab over. This is just like a semi-truck. You're sitting above the wheels. Gives you a really interesting feeling. These things turn super sharply, and you feel like you're traveling almost sideways at the front when you're going around corners very sharply like that. And, I'm not sure what people are thinking, but some people are like, you're sitting on top of the engine. That's got to be not safe. Well, guess what? You've got a firewall between you and the engine. Exactly like if you were in something else, like that, or like that, you have a firewall between you and the engine. There is quite literally no difference in terms of safety if the engine were to explode. That said, I don't know why people would even worry about that. It's a Nissan Atlas. You're not going to have an engine explode. You're going to experience a nice slow engine, probably around 90 horsepower from a 2-liter gasoline, industrial engine, and so you're getting more reliability, less performance out of an industrial engine. So you can probably drive these to 400,000 kilometers before rebuild, and you got plenty to go from the 10,000 that it's at the moment. So let's go over the auction inspection sheet here. It's a 1994 Atlas fire truck, auction grade 4, interior B. And boy, oh boy, is the condition good on this compared to your average one. And you better bet that I'm going to point out all of the flaws on any of the vehicles that we put up here on the channel, but this one has almost no flaws anywhere on it. So I'm very happy to see that. So, auction sheet says, comes with an owner's manual, comes with fire equipment, whatever is on the car that hasn't been inspected. Exterior, various scratches, dents, and surface rust. Interior, dirty. Rear single tires, so not dually in the back, like some of them are. Seat dirty and wear. Windshield rock chip. And the equipment floor is worn. It says U2 over here and S2 over here. S2 is rust. It's mostly only surface rust. And then the U2 apparently is on this panel here. Now, have a look, see if you can see it. I would say it's closer to a U1. It's in this area here, if you didn't notice it. That's the only damage on the body, other than some, what they call S2 on the back here, which I'll get to. The equipment area, not included as part of the body. So let's go for a tour around it. And we're a little bit tight in here at the port because we've got Hilux Surf, Land Cruiser Prado, Hilux camping car, Delica camping car. All our cars, by the way. A lot of people see our lot with like the 20 some odd cars in it and thinking, oh, that's the volume that they do. We have like 150 cars at port at the moment. We just don't often come here because we don't make the mistake of having to book the cars and cancel. Really, the transport company made a bit of a mistake in not sending this one directly to us. That said, these big vehicles, better to go directly to the port, I must say. Because our lot can't fit these huge guys very easily. And I say huge by Japanese standards. This really is quite a bit smaller than an F-150. And better use of space inside. You get more leg room in this than you do in the F-150. Which is weird to think of. Okay, so some details here. The Atlas has a slightly different look from the Hi-Ace, but generally speaking, they're pretty close. This one has fog lights in the front bumper, irregular lights here, and because it's an industrial truck, both the fog lights and the headlights are quite bright and nice. It says Nissan on the front. Love it. And, some people just love Nissans, and so if you are that kind of person, maybe you've got a Silvia or a Skyline already, and you wanted to get a truck, the Nissan Atlas is cool, the Nissan Safari is incredibly good, and then like Nissan hardbody pickups are also really nice too. Coming down the side panels, there's really nothing to talk about here. It still has the Fire Hall decals on it, which is very cool, and it still has the, if you look in here, the top lights, which we can install for you if you want. Of course, that would be an extra fee for the labor of the mechanic to come out here and install that. A little bit of wear on the foot holder to get in and out of the van. And take a look at this. The back doors here, they're symmetrical left and right. So it's only one door that they need to stamp out. And then they just put the handle on one side or the other, depending on which side of the car that the vehicle's on. And the hinges, of course. Back section here looking gorgeous. I love how it has this aluminum addition on there to prevent chips from happening there that would cause rust and whatnot. That's maybe one of the only things you have to really worry about for these fire trucks is chips and things like this, especially on the edges here where the firefighters are, grabbing this, quick, let's go put out a fire. Let's not care about accidentally hitting the side rack. Here's a good example. There's one here, but it's very common for this to have a whole bunch. So seeing the aluminum that's been riveted on there is a nice little addition. I'm not sure if you noticed, there's 2 flip down seats in the back. And now this is a water pump. So if you ever want to pump water, you stick this bad boy into a swimming pool. We don't have swimming pools in here in Japan. But stick that into a pond or something, and it'll suck the water in, shoot it out here. And then if you had another firefighter's hose, which you don't, you could stick this nozzle on the end, and you can go fight some fires. Interesting. So it comes with a pry bar and a ladder, fire extinguisher, which I think has to be thrown out, and this pickup hose on the back, and then these flip down seats, which you've got a seat, and the firefighters can go and ride along. There's this really nice box in the back, and a little bit of chipping around what used to be mounted there. The box has a few goodies inside. Let's see if I can get in here. The rust that they were talking about, it's on the rails of the pump, and I think most people are going to remove this pump when it lands and just either put their own box on the back or keep the firefighter box. Firefighter clothes, some pump things. What's in here? Some nothing. Firefighter clothes. Look at this. Your belt buckle has the official firefighter logo on it. Super cool. Okay. Let's head out of here. And we'll go now to the interior, which, fantastic. I love this. You get a total of 6 seats, so you can bring a number of people with you. But this back one has a full flat floor, even better than the High Ace's flat floor, because that one curves up here at the back. You can flip this seat up and actually attach it on with the hook there. And then you've got a ton of space in here for storage. A ton of space. You could even possibly sleep here if you really wanted to. You're going to have to curl in your legs, but it would be possible. Okay. And then the front, all super basic, all super reliable. You've got crank style windows here. It has power steering. It has no AC. Most of these fire trucks don't have AC, so better in kind of the northern climates. You could potentially install electric air conditioning, but that's not really that easy to do. Rubber floor mats make cleaning a breeze. A place for 2 pens. Firefighters need 2, I guess. Power steering is good. The 5-speed manual shift's really nice. The e-brake works nice and well. And then over here we have the fan and the heater. And then a little slot for where your intercom system used to go, which has been uninstalled. Headliner is pretty decent. It has these screw holes for the mounting of the siren on the top. And it looks like auxiliary, let's get a focus there. Auxiliary light up there. Yep. And that's about it for this fire truck. We will get that tire taken care of for you. We'll find you a price and get your okay before we do it. And then we'll ship it off to you. This one, I think it's going to the USA. Let's just double check. Yeah, Baltimore. Okay, that's all for this guy. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.